While my wife was making plans for a new life with her wealthy lover, I quietly prepared a surprise for her. I deprived her of her home, her money, and her future in one fell swoop. If you had asked me a month ago, I would have told you my marriage was rock solid. Sure, it wasn't fireworks every night or anything. But after 6 years together, things felt comfortable. Safe. That's why I didn't think much of it when Samantha came home one night, bouncing with excitement, saying she and her girlfriends were planning a weekend getaway. "We just need some girl time," she said, laughing. "Wine, beach, bad reality TV. You know the drill." I smiled and nodded. Honestly, I was happy for her. She deserved a break. Lately, work had been stressing her out, and I figured a little R&R would do her good. She told me they were heading to Seabreeze, a cute little beach town about 3 hours south. Nothing fancy. Just a cheap Airbnb and some fun in the sun. The way she talked about it, everything sounded totally normal. But then something weird happened. She mentioned it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. Yet somehow they already had the rental booked, a full itinerary planned, and matching swimsuits ordered. I didn't say anything at the time. I brushed it off. I mean, who wants to be the jealous husband freaking out over a harmless trip, right? Looking back, man, I should have trusted my gut. Because that trip? It wasn't a girls' weekend. It was the beginning of the end. The morning she left, I woke up early to see her off. She was already downstairs, buzzing around like she'd had 3 cups of coffee. Her bag caught my eye immediately. It was tiny. Like, overnight trip to grandma's house tiny. No way it had enough clothes for a whole beach weekend. Especially not for Samantha, who once packed half a suitcase just for a 2-day stay at her sister's place. I joked about it, something dumb like, "Packing light, huh?" She laughed it off. "We're just gonna live in swimsuits and sundresses. No big deal." Still, it felt wrong. Like a tiny alarm going off in the back of my head. Another weird thing, she kept checking her phone every 30 seconds. Not scrolling Instagram. Not texting the group chat. Just staring at it, waiting. When I offered to help her carry her stuff to the car, she practically sprinted outside ahead of me. Then, as she hugged me goodbye, she gave this strange, guilty little smile. Not the "I'll miss you" kind of smile. More like, "I hope you don't notice I'm lying through my teeth." I stood there in the driveway watching her drive off. That pit in my stomach? Yeah, it turned into a full-on sinkhole. I wanted to believe it was just me being insecure. Overthinking. Paranoid. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. And I was about to find out just how bad it really was. After she left, I spent the whole morning pacing around the house like a crazy person. I kept telling myself to chill out. Trust her. Don't be that guy. But the feeling wouldn't go away. It just kept growing, like a pressure building in my chest. Around noon, I called my best friend, Danny. He's the guy I've known since middle school, the kind of friend who always talks you down or talks you into something way dumber. I vented for a bit, trying to make it sound like a joke. "Dude, I'm probably just losing it. But something about this girl's trip feels sketchy." Danny didn't even hesitate. "Follow her," he said, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I laughed. Hard. "Bro, what am I, James Bond? I'm not about to drive 3 hours just to spy on my wife." Danny just said, "Would you rather sit at home wondering if she's lying to you?" And that shut me up real quick. The more I thought about it, the more it made sense. I didn't need to do anything crazy. Just drive down there. See for myself. Ease my mind. Best case? I find her drinking margaritas with her girlfriends and feel like a complete idiot. Worst case? Well, I already knew. So I packed a bag, grabbed some gas station coffee, and hit the highway. No big plan. No backup. Just a guy with a sinking feeling and nothing left to lose. The drive down to Seabreeze was long and miserable. 3 hours of nothing but my own thoughts chewing me up from the inside. I kept going back and forth. "You're overreacting." "No, you're not. She loves you." "Then why are you driving 3 hours like a psycho?" By the time I hit the town limits, my hands were shaking on the steering wheel. Seabreeze was exactly what you'd picture. Pastel beach houses, surf shops, couples riding bikes in matching outfits. It was supposed to be peaceful. It just made me feel sick. I parked a few streets over from the Airbnb address Samantha had accidentally left open on her laptop a few nights before. Yeah, that was my first breadcrumb. I waited and waited. After about 20 minutes, I saw her car roll up, but it wasn't packed with giggling girls. No extra cars pulled up behind her. No friends piling out with beach bags and coolers. Just her. Alone. She sat there for a few minutes, checking her phone like she was waiting for someone. Then a Porsche, sleek, black, shiny like a shark, pulled up next to her. Out stepped a man. Not some young, dumb surfer bro. No, this guy was older, gray at the temples, wearing a button-down and loafers like he just walked out of a yacht club meeting. Samantha lit up when she saw him, ran straight into his arms. They kissed, right there on the sidewalk. Not a quick peck, not a friendly hug. A kiss that told me everything I needed to know. And just like that, my marriage was over. But me? I wasn't going home empty-handed. Not yet. I sat there in my car, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. I wanted to storm out right then. Scream. Throw hands. Make a damn scene. But something in me, some cold, broken part, said no. Stay calm. Watch. Learn. So I did. I watched Samantha and Mr. Portia laugh like teenagers. I watched them grab their bags and head into the Airbnb. Not a care in the world. And me? I stayed in the shadows, phone in hand, camera rolling. I followed them carefully over the next 2 days. I saw them holding hands at brunch. I saw them kissing by the boardwalk. I saw him buying her a stupid, overpriced bracelet at one of those tourist shops. They didn't even try to hide it. Like I didn't exist. Like 6 years of marriage was just nothing. The worst part? She looked happier than I'd seen her in years. And it broke something inside me I didn't even know could break. By the second night, I wasn't even sad anymore. Just cold. Focused. I wasn't here for a fight. I was here for proof. Because if she thought she was gonna walk away clean, if she thought she was gonna blindside me back home, she had no idea who she was messing with. When Samantha walked through the front door that Sunday night, she looked normal. Tired. Sun-kissed. Smiling like she just spent the weekend being a wholesome beach bum with her girlfriends. Hey, babe, she said, tossing her tiny bag onto the couch. Miss me? I smiled right back. Of course. How was the trip? She rattled off some story about drinking wine on the beach, laughing till sunrise, shopping for cheesy souvenirs. I nodded along, asked all the right questions, laughed in all the right places. Not once did I let on that I knew the truth. Because I wasn't ready yet. I needed time. Time to get everything in place. That night, lying next to her in bed, I stared at the ceiling while she scrolled on her phone beside me. Probably texting him. Probably planning her next girls' trip. But that was fine. Let her think she was safe. Let her get comfortable. Because the more lies she told, the sweeter the ending would be. The next morning, while Samantha was busy pretending to answer work emails at the kitchen table, I quietly launched phase 1. First thing, I opened a new bank account under just my name. Moved my direct deposit from work. Changed my passwords. Locked down everything she might have had access to. Next, I pulled a few thousand in cash. Enough to get by if things got messy fast. Then I called a divorce attorney. I made sure it was one of the best in town, a guy who didn't just win cases, he buried his opponents. We met the next day in a tiny, dark office downtown. Leather chairs. Heavy wood furniture. A place that smelled like old money and sharper knives. I laid everything out for him, the affair, the beach trip, the secret rendezvous. He listened carefully, tapping a gold pen against a notepad. You're playing this smart, he said finally. The more evidence you have, the better. Let her think she's winning. The second she tries to pull something, we crush her. I left that meeting feeling lighter than I had in weeks. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about survival. Over the next few days, I moved carefully, methodically. I rented a small apartment on the other side of town under my buddy Danny's name, cash only, no paper trail leading back to me. I started transferring sentimental stuff out of the house, my dad's watch, old photos, family heirlooms, little things Samantha wouldn't notice missing until it was too late. I backed up every scrap of evidence. I had screenshots of her texts, photos of her with the Porsche guy, even a video clip of them kissing outside the Airbnb. Every night, I came home, smiled, kissed her on the forehead. Played the part of the oblivious, loving husband. Meanwhile, Samantha? She got bolder. Later nights. Sketchier excuses. Lazier lies. It was almost insulting how little she thought of me. But that was fine. The higher she climbed, the harder the fall would hit. And trust me, I was building one hell of a fall. Over the next couple of weeks, Samantha slipped into a rhythm. A stupid, dangerous rhythm. She started texting constantly, barely bothering to hide it. Every few days, she'd grab drinks with the girls or work late at the office. Always with that same fake laugh, that same lazy kiss goodbye. The part that really got me? She stopped even pretending to care. There was a night 2 Fridays after she got back when she walked through the door around midnight reeking of expensive cologne that wasn't mine. I was sitting on the couch half watching a baseball game, beer in hand. She gave me a tired smile, kicked off her heels and said, "Rough day at the office, babe." No apology. No explanation. Just straight to bed. I stared at the TV long after the game ended, beer warm in my hand. This was good. This was perfect. The cockier she got, the easier it would be to bring her down. Behind the scenes, I kept gathering proof. I installed a small GPS tracker under her car, nothing illegal, just one of those little magnetic ones you can buy online. Every time she left for a girls' night, I tracked her. Every time she wasn't anywhere near the places she said she'd be. Restaurants she claimed to visit? She never showed up. Nights she said she was helping a friend move? She was at his condo across town. I kept the screenshots, timestamped and labeled. I even managed to snag a few pictures, her and the rich guy kissing in the parking lot, getting into his Porsche, her sitting on his lap at an outdoor bar like a love-struck teenager. The best part? I never confronted her once. I never even let her see me angry. I still brought her coffee in the mornings. Still left little notes in her car. Still smiled like the perfect, clueless husband. I wanted her to believe she was winning. I wanted her to think she had all the time in the world to string me along. Because while she was busy building her fake future, I was putting the final nail in the coffin. The trip was next. The second honeymoon. The trip she thought would be a guilt-free, romantic getaway, but would actually be the stage for her ultimate humiliation. And man, I couldn't wait. 3 weeks after Samantha's girls' trip, I finally set the trap. One morning over breakfast, a quiet Saturday, sun pouring through the windows, everything looking picture perfect, I casually brought it up. "You know," I said, buttering my toast like I didn't have murder in my heart, "we've been through a rough patch lately. I was thinking maybe we should get away. Just the two of us." Samantha perked up instantly. Eyes bright. Smile wide. Like a mouse sniffing cheese without smelling the spring-loaded bar beneath it. "Really?" she said. "That sounds amazing." I shrugged, kept it casual. "Yeah. Maybe Mexico? Somewhere warm. Just reset, you know." She didn't even hesitate. Didn't ask questions. Didn't wonder why I suddenly wanted a romantic getaway after weeks of working late and sleeping with cologne she didn't own. In her mind, she was winning. I was the fool. The desperate husband trying to fix what he didn't even realize was already shattered. Good. I let her pick the dates 2 weeks out after some important work projects she claimed she needed to finish. I booked everything. Flights, a fancy all-inclusive resort, romantic excursions, even a damn couples massage. Every little detail planned down to the minute. She even helped me pack, picked out outfits for me, flirted like she hadn't been screwing another man 3 nights ago. It almost made me laugh. Almost. In the days leading up to the trip, I kept it up, sweet texts, candlelit dinners, little love notes tucked into her purse. Let her dream about sipping margaritas by the pool, posting smiling selfies to make her friends jealous. Let her think she'd pulled it off. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, I was finalizing everything with my lawyer. The divorce papers were signed, sealed, and ready to be delivered. I canceled my half of the flight the night before we were supposed to leave. Set a process server to be waiting at the airport with a little surprise for her. By the time Samantha boarded that plane, she'd think she was on her way to paradise. But what was really waiting for her? Divorce papers, financial ruin, and the realization that she hadn't just been caught. She'd been outplayed. And soon, she'd have nothing left but the mess she made. The morning of the trip, I woke up earlier than Samantha. I made her coffee, kissed her on the forehead, and told her I'd meet her at the airport later. "Got a few errands to run first," I said, smiling like the dumb, loyal husband she thought I was. She barely even heard me. Too busy texting someone. Probably the rich guy making plans for after she secured the bag. I watched her load her suitcase into the Uber, humming happily under her breath. Probably daydreaming about infinity pools and room service. She didn't know the suitcase she was dragging behind her might as well have been a casket. Once she left, I sat down at the kitchen table, sipping my own coffee slowly, feeling calm. No rage. No panic. Just a cold, steady satisfaction. I gave it about 30 minutes, then checked my phone. The process server, a guy named Leo, ex-military, built like a brick wall, texted me one word. Delivered. Here's how it went down. Samantha arrived at the airport wheeling her little suitcase through the terminal, looking fresh and excited for a new adventure. Leo spotted her immediately. Walked right up with a clipboard in hand, polite but firm. "Samantha Evans?" he asked, loud enough for a few heads to turn. She blinked, confused. Yes. He handed her a thick envelope, sealed tight. You've been served. Have a great trip. And just like that, he turned and walked away, leaving her standing there, holding the death sentence to her perfect little fantasy. Inside the envelope, divorce papers citing adultery with full documentation attached. A demand for repayment of all marital funds spent on her affairs. Notice of property division giving me sole ownership of our house and joint assets. Screenshots of her texts. Photos of her with Mr. Portia. A final letter from my lawyer. Any attempt to contest these terms will result in the full release of all evidence to your workplace, your family, and your social media accounts. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Samantha. Jake, what is this? Please call me. Please. I didn't reply. I didn't even open the message. I just put my phone on silent, leaned back in my chair, and smiled. She wasn't going to Mexico. She wasn't going anywhere. Not without losing everything first. I didn't hear from Samantha for the rest of that day. Not a call. Not a knock at the door. Not even another desperate text. Guess the airport ambush shook her worse than I expected. The next morning, though, I got word from my attorney. She'd signed the divorce papers. No fight. No screaming matches. No ugly courtroom battle. Just one messy, miserable signature. Turns out when you're standing in the middle of an airport served with a mountain of evidence that could wreck your personal life, your career, and your carefully curated little image, you fold pretty damn fast. She moved out of the house 2 days later. Correction, my house. She didn't even try to argue over it. She packed her things while I was at work, left her keys on the counter, and vanished like a bad memory. Word started spreading soon after. First her family found out. Then her friends. Then somehow even some of her coworkers caught wind. Samantha went from Instagram perfect boss babe to the girl who cheated, got caught, lost everything, and probably cried in the break room between meetings. The rich guy? Yeah, he ghosted her too. Apparently, he wasn't looking for damaged goods once her dirty laundry went public. I heard he booked a trip to Europe with someone new about a week later. Someone younger. Fitting, right? As for me, I sold the house, made a nice little profit too. Moved into a sleek downtown apartment. New job. New city. New life. No drama. No lies. Just peace. Real, honest-to-God peace. Sometimes, late at night, I still wonder if Samantha ever sits in her tiny rented apartment, scrolling through old photos, wondering how she got it all so wrong. Wondering how the man she thought was weak, the man she thought she could walk all over, turned out to be the one who outsmarted her at every step. I don't waste too much time thinking about it, though. Because the truth is, she lost. And I won. Game over.